Welcome to 1 in Millions, the real UPSC model interview. കഴിഞ്ഞ UPSC മെയിൻ എക്സാമിന് ശേഷം ഫൈനൽ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂവിലേക്ക് 100-ൽ മുകളിൽ കുട്ടികളാണ് കേരളത്തിൽ നിന്നും സെലക്ട് ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് ഷോസ് യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് എത്രത്തോളം സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ടാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ UPSC എക്സാം അവരൊരു കരിയർ ഓപ്ഷൻ ആയിട്ട് കാണുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളത്. ആൻഡ് സിവിൽ സർവീസ് എക്സാമിന് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന കാൻഡിഡേറ്റ്സ് 3 ഘട്ടങ്ങളിലൂടെയാണ് കടന്നു പോകുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ പ്രിലിംസ് എക്സാം, ദെൻ ദ മെയിൻസ് എക്സാം ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ദ ഫൈനൽ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂ. ഇതിൽ പ്രിലിംസ് എക്സാമും മെയിൻസ് എക്സാമും കാൻഡിഡേറ്റ്സിൻ്റെ നോളജ് അറിയാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. എന്നാൽ ദ ഫൈനൽ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂ ഇസ് ടു അസസ് ദെയർ പേഴ്സണാലിറ്റി. ഇന്നിവിടെ നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് UPSCയുടെ ഫൈനൽ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂവിൻ്റെ ഒരു മോഡൽ വേർഷനാണ്. ഒരു കാൻഡിഡേറ്റ് ആ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂവിന് എങ്ങനെ ഇരിക്കണം, സംസാരിക്കണം, ബിഹേവ് ചെയ്യണം എന്നൊക്കെയാണ് ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഇന്നിവിടെ നമ്മളെ സഹായിക്കുവാനായിട്ട് ഒരു പാനൽ ഓഫ് എമിനൻറ്റ് പേഴ്സണാലിറ്റീസ് എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ ഇന്നത്തെ പാനലിസ്റ്റുകൾ: റിട്ടയർഡ് IAS KT Chacko, former Director General of Foreign Trade, Government of India; Dr. B. Ashok IAS, Secretary of Ayush Sports, Government of Kerala; A. Hemachandran IPS, Director General, Fire and Rescue Services; Dr. Gopalakrishnan, Professor of English, Chairman, Amrita Civil Service Academy. First of all, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
And right now I'm feeling so privileged to stand near you. കാരണം അദ്ദേഹം റിസർവ് ബാങ്കിൻ്റെ മാനേജറായിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാണ്. അതിനോടൊപ്പമാണ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പാഷൻ ഫോളോ ചെയ്ത് ഇപ്പോൾ ഇതാ ഈ ഫൈനൽ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂവിലേക്ക് കടക്കുന്നത്. സോ can you just give me a brief introduction about yourself?
I'm Gajendra Shiva. I'm from Coimbatore district. I'm presently working in Reserve Bank of India, Thiruvananthapuram regional office.
So sir, how do you manage that work plus your passion?
Yes, prior to Reserve Bank of India, I was working with Tamil Nadu government. So alongside work, you have to study in the evening and morning times, and you take leave whenever the exam approaches nearby. So that way you can manage work and studies.
So all the best, sir, for your panel interview, and I'll be waiting here for you so we can share the experience after the interview. Sure. All the best.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Gajendra. Welcome. Be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to Kerala.
Thank you, sir.
Gajendra, you are presently working.
Yes, sir. I'm working in Reserve Bank of India, Thiruvananthapuram office only, sir.
Oh, you are working in Thiruvananthapuram office only.
Office.
Wonderful, wonderful. And
I came just one month ago.
1 month ago.
Yes.
You joined in the service 1 month before or got transferred here?
No, sir. The training was in Chennai, sir. I joined in December. After mains, I joined there. Then after completion of training, I was posted to Thiruvananthapuram.
This is the first posting.
Yes, sir. This is my first posting.
You have done your BE in Industrial Engineering and MTech in Designs and Manufacturing
Yes, sir.
Engineering. Okay.
And the graduation is part-time degree, sir. First I did my diploma in mechanical engineering. After that I was working, and alongside work I completed my graduation. After that I wrote GATE and did my MTech in Amrita University, Coimbatore.
Now, Mr. Gajendra,
Yes,
you have work experience. Before RBI also you have been,
Yes.
you have been working, you have been in the field. Tell me, banking sector reforms have been taken up in our country in the last 6-7 years, particularly seriously,
yes,
in trying to improve the net worth of Indian banks. In your view, as far as commercial banks are concerned, what are the major concerns at the moment?
Okay, sir. The reforms actually started by nationalization of banks itself in 1969. But the present concerns, if you look at, it is the NPA, the non-performing asset issue is the major issue as of now the banks are facing. And the Reserve Bank of India has done a lot of measures like SSS4 and corporate debt restructuring, strategic debt restructuring. They are introducing different schemes so that they can eliminate this NPA problem. And so that is the major concern as of now that I see, sir.
Apart from writing of NPAs, what are the positive steps which can be taken to improve the NPS?
Yes, sir. Actually, there needs to be a balance, sir. So, if Reserve Bank introduces some scheme that should not be misused by the banks, as well as that the defaulters also should not take advantage of it. So, that is the finding right balance is the problem, sir. As far as strategic debt restructuring scheme, it was going well. That is what we have learnt in training. That was going well, but still the problem is not getting resolved because the bank boards are not ready, because one defaulter, for example, a big defaulter, that case I have come across, one big defaulters of the meeting was conducted among banks, the 4 or 5 banks who have lent to that person, but the public sector banks are not ready to take a decision about restructuring, because they fear that later the vigilance may come and question them, they may fix responsibility on the public sector bank officials, whereas the private sector banks they are protected. So, in that way the harassment, the perceived harassment in future also makes them to not to take a decisive action on the loan problems.
There have been an emphasis on branch bank expansion, etc. Now it is also the Jan Dhan Yojana to start new accounts.
Yes.
In spite of all that, the banking penetration in the rural areas is still a long way to go is there. In your view, what else can be done to enhance the penetration of banking to the rural masses?
Yes. So, the Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana is a very good scheme. It has almost as per our records, we are around 90% of the families in India have been included. Okay, sir. Then the rural branch penetration is very low. That is another factor. So, for that we have to increase the number of banking correspondents, and after the mobile revolution in the last decade, so we are looking at the payment banks options also. Even now let us say Aircel is going to apply for a payment bank. So, and even the brick and mortar structure is what we perceive as a bank, but now even Paytm has come up with a model, and even Kotak Mahindra Bank is also trying to emulate that one. So, I think in future with the mobiles, the banking facilities will be extended to all.
See, you are aware that there is a huge gap between India's exports and imports.
Yes.
Particularly merchandise exports and imports. Can you list 5 major items of imports in terms of value?
One is petroleum, oil and POLs, petroleum, oil and lubricants. Second one is electronics manufacturing items, and another one is gold and capital goods. I do not remember another item which is very valuable. These 4 we need to concentrate to set off the trade imbalance.
There have been movements in the past, and also particularly in US, etc.
Yes.
By Indian or by American.
By America.
Do you think such movements are in the overall interest of the economy or the global trading systems?
Yes, sir. For them, they feel that after liberalization era, they feel that the developing countries took advantage of the situation and they have grown at their cost. So, they are trying to rectify it. Even in Britain, they voted for Brexit. In America, they are trying to bring some protectionist policies. So, what they are trying to do is they are trying to renegotiate the trade treaties which they have signed. Even they have pulled out of TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The America has pulled out because they fear that either Vietnam or Bangladesh might get benefited at their cost. So, it is good for them. For America, it is good for them. And for us also, we should see it as an opportunity, so that if Brexit is happening, India can negotiate separate trade treaty with UK, and with America also it is not going to affect India in a very high way, because the IT services only will be affected because of this H1B visa, and that also not according to the GDP contribution, the IT sector is around 10% only. So, I think India can look for other markets and diversify the exports also. So, it is not going to be a big problem for India, I think.
You had taken Tamil literature as a
Yes,
subject.
yes, yes.
A few months back, one Tamil writer he declared that he would stop writing
Yes.
because of some threat.
Yes.
You are aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain the details of that?
Sir, that writer's name is Perumal Murugan. He wrote a novel called Madhuru Bhagan. So that novel, in the novel, I haven't read the novel, sir, but the issue is he has written a novel based on a rural event, which the local community opposed that it is not happening at all in our area. So it was like a childless couple going to different temples and praying for a child. At the end, what they are trying to do is, in a rural festival, the women who wants a child is allowed to select a partner who is an able person. So people were the local community was very much angry with that author, that you are denigrating our area and you are denigrating our customs. So that was a threat issued to him. The people were agitating against him, and he issued an apology at the time. Later he was supported by progressive writers, and he continued. He said, I will continue to write. He was given some awards after that. That novel became.
Perumal Murugan has also written a book about story of an IAS officer who hails from a Dalit community.
Okay, sir. That I am not aware of.
You are not aware of
Yes.
that. These writers coming under threat from people like that,
Yes.
and sometimes there are also instances where books are banned
Yes.
because of protests.
Yes.
Can you give some examples like that in India, from not necessarily from Tamil Nadu, from?
Yes, sir. This Taslima Nasreen issue was there earlier, and in Jaipur Literature Festival, some writers were threatened, and in Karnataka there was a murder of a writer, Mr. Kalburgi, I think. So there is always a, whenever some people write in a progressive way, or they are writing out of their creative, they are creative, but if they do not conform to the society, then people do oppose. And what I feel is freedom of speech and expression that was given under Article 19 applies to everyone. So we should, as a writer, we should also be writer should be responsible that they do not violate the fundamental rights of others also. That's what I feel.
So, what is your opinion? Is it justified to ban a book because of its contents?
Sir, it depends on the content of the book, sir, because we cannot have a blanket ban on who should be banning. That also another question comes. Who should be banning? Is there any authority to ban it? And like in films, we have a CBFC who can certify a film, but for books, I don't think there is a institution like that. So we can set up an institution who can review books and review its contents.
So, are you suggesting we should establish?
Yes, I am suggesting.
So, it is a good idea that a book should be read. Some authority should read the book first and then decide whether it is.
Yes,
for
sir, I feel, because there can be extreme Naxal oriented books also coming in the market. So we don't know which book because the influence book is a very powerful tool. It can influence the reader's mind. So what I am suggesting is, it is not that you have to ban everything. All the protests are not genuine. Most of the protests are for namesake. They will, if they don't like the writer, or the writer is belong to some other political party, for some reasons they were protesting. But in general, what I feel is, there should be some standards. That's what I feel.
You are suggesting to establish a mechanism for that.
Yes, yes, sir. Because it should not be like sporadic. Someone, if I don't like a book, I will take 10% and protest against the book. So that should not be the case, sir.
But what you are suggesting is rather regressive.
Sir, I don't feel it is a regressive measure, because creativity should be allowed. That is, there is no question of
But who decides whether this is creative, worth publishing? This is
No, what I am
dangerous.
saying is whether it's creative or not is the question, sir. Whether it will disrupt the society or it is against the nation. So those kind of things we have to look at it, sir.
Now, who decides whether this is against the society or which will disrupt?
So the government can set up a panel of experts, like they can draw people from Sagitya Academy. like they can draw people like what they have done to CBFC, they can draw a panel of experts and they can decide. So, only if otherwise instead of banning instead of taking every book, whichever comes to limelight because of problems, they can take that books and authorize it where it is
They
okay.
can intervene. That is what the emergency years did. The government sent censors to all the newspapers, and pre-edited government editor also vetted the newspapers.
You started on a liberal note,
No,
but
no,
what
I am
you are
not
suggesting
saying,
is exactly opposite. It appears.
Okay, but it may appear, it appears to be, sir, but what I am saying is there are so many protests are happening whenever recently even this Bahubali movie, someone is protesting that make that actor apologize to us. So, it becomes a mob culture. So, whoever wants to ban something, they start protesting. So, that what I am saying is give legitimacy to the creative writers. I am suggesting a way out.
No, if this is the way out, then for every creative work,
Okay.
see, so somebody is painting, a painter, somebody is a sculptor.
Yes.
So, for every creative work before it is displayed, there has to be an authority which scrutinizes and decides. That is what you are suggesting.
No, not for every creative thing. I am
Or only
saying.
for writing.
Dispute settling.
So,
Only
dispute,
whether it's a dispute.
if it is a dispute, that is what I am suggesting.
Now there is a strong case by Amol Palekar in the Supreme Court against certification of films.
Yeah,
Censorship
that's
is
an
going to
advanced
be
stage.
stopped.
Advanced stage.
Yes, sir. That's what censorship also. That's what I have linked it with that also.
Yeah,
Sir.
there is a difference. See, a film which is displayed, somebody goes for seeing without knowing about the content or without much idea, then all kind of people, it's for mass display. A book is to be read and understood.
Yes.
And the reading habit itself is not all that common among all kind of people.
Yes.
It's not like a film, it is displayed to some people who are clueless about it.
Yes.
So, in respect of a book or that kind of work, if there has to be an advanced mechanism, I think that can be dangerous. That may not be viewed worthy of expected of a civil liberal democratic society. I don't know, you can think over that, you
yes,
can
sir.
have your view.
Okay,
Okay, let us leave it that
okay,
you are working in a bank, let
Yes.
us come to something relating to that.
Okay, sir.
We had this issue of demonetization.
Yes, sir.
What is your take on that? Was it a good move? Did it achieve its results? What is your opinion?
Of course, it is a good move, sir. So, being in Reserve Bank of India, I support that move. And
But
regarding
you joined Reserve Bank after that.
yes, even before, but even before that,
You
I
are supporting.
supported the move. And
What were the reasons for your support?
sir, one is India has become a high cash economy, sir. The growth India has experienced is because of asset inflation has contributed to the growth pretty much. India's cash to GDP ratio is around 12 to 13%, whereas the advanced economies are having cash to GDP ratio of only 5 to 6% only. Even among BRICS countries, we are the highest. That is one reason they went for demonetization. And the another reason is, main reason that was supposed to be told is black money. To eradicate black money, they have taken a step. And it is a step with good intent. So, I just supported it because of that. And even people who are opposing it say that almost 97% of the money has come back. So, it is a move that has failed. So, that was some opponents of demonetization argue. But what I think is, the money has come back, that does not mean that all the money is white. The income tax department has taken note of all the suspicious accounts. We have around 17 lakh accounts which have suspicious transactions, and around them around 7 lakh has been sent notice. 7 lakh for notice has been reply has come, and the IT department still expects around 75,000 crore to come as white money. And they have introduced another scheme in between, the Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Yojana, and with that scheme also we expect more money to come into the system. And moreover, all the money which has hidden has come out, it has come out into the formal system. So, in that way I feel the move has done well, and it sent a moral, it's morally also the people felt that if we cheat government, they will come after us anyway. So,
But has any person with a substantive amount of black money,
Yes.
has any such person suffered?
Sir, they have suffered, and
How?
moreover black money is not only, yes sir.
How? On what evidence you are telling?
Sir, the money has come back into the system means they have tried to circumvent the system. So, they will
Yeah, that means they were in a position to give it back. They could account it. That is why it came back to the system.
that is what my argument is, sir. The IT department will see
But
through
even
the
then,
accounts.
you are saying 75,000 crores. There is
Yes.
nothing which is saying doubtful anyway.
Okay.
You mentioned that 97% of the cash in economy were returned. I am not betting on it, but there are reports saying that actually more cash than that was in circulation has been returned.
No sir, actually,
Assuming that to be true, assume for a second you are a central banker.
yes, yes,
Assume that you had let us say 14.5 lakh crores of cash in circulation
yes.
and you got 15 lakh crores back. How do you think it happened?
I missed one point in favor of demonetization. Whether RBI has sent a note, they have also mentioned that there are Pakistan is actually printing our currency. So,
Are you attributing the additional 50,000 crores
No,
to Pakistani currency?
no. I am saying it's true, sir. It's true. They are printing our currency.
Correct. Forget it. You have obviated that issue.
Yes, but
My
still
spot-
we
my-
found some fake notes also have come into the
Correct.
system.
I agree. RBI is not the only agency printing notes in India. I concede it to you.
Okay.
But suppose you got 50,000 crores
Extra.
more.
Yes.
What could be the reason? There are informal reports suggesting that. That's why RBI has not spelt out how much they got back.
Yes, they have
Formally.
stopped reporting. Yes,
They have stopped reporting
Yes.
because there is a strong current that more cash was returned. How could it have happened? You only printed 14.5, but
Yes.
Indians ingeniously have returned 15 lakh crores. How did it happen?
that's what I am saying, sir. Pakistan has pumped a lot of money into the
Pakistan
system.
cannot give you 50,000 crores.
So there
that
are
means your policy has
two.
failed.
So one is that one, sir. Another one is there can be a problem of double accounting. That's what they are
Yeah,
checking.
I'm interested in that. What happened with double accounting?
So double accounting, they are yet to finalize it, sir. Double accounting may have happened. So, but RBI has denied it.
Is it a possibility that a very small percentage of bank managers have actually returned new notes without receiving back the,
Yes, very
the
much,
entire?
very much possible, sir. Very much happened also. that has come in media reports, and
So what was the modus
even
operandi?
I have some friends in
What
banks.
is the modus operandi?
Sir, actually, what they have done is one is they have opened new accounts. New accounts in fake names. Some
Receive-
50-60
Shown
accounts.
receipts and issued new notes
Yes, sir.
on a share basis.
Yes, share basis they have done it. So
What
even
was-
even 30% commission was taken by some
Okay,
bank
but
managers.
what was the loophole in your RBI scheme which allowed this?
Sir, the loophole, we cannot say it is a
The
loophole,
RBI
sir.
scheme of changing the old notes. That is
Change-
where the issue
So,
happened.
yes, sir. Changing the old notes.
When the old notes came to accounts, or some which was initially allowed to be changed without deposit in accounts
Yes,
till a particular amount.
that was there. Then
What was the crucial loophole?
There was no ID proof kind
Correct.
of thing.
The ID was introduced midway. After 3-4 days, ID
Yeah,
was introduced.
later
Accounts
on.
were maintained. Will you recommend periodic demonetizing every 10 years or so as a prudent monetary policy?
Sir,
Larger
for
notes.
in United States, the notes come with an expiry date.
Oh, I see.
In United States, it comes with an expiry date, but their cash in the economy is very low. They have only 5% of cash according to as per the GDP. But for us, whereas it is 12 to 13% of our GDP. So,
Okay, thank you.
I will just ask one or two questions. You know, you have mentioned Vipassana.
yes,
You have also mentioned meditation.
yes.
But I am told that Vipassana is all about meditation. How did you?
No, sir, I said Vipassana meditation. That was.
Okay, but there was a comma in between.
Oh, sorry, I just.
Okay, can you tell us something about Vipassana?
Sir, Vipassana, it is a Buddhist meditation technique, sir.
Okay.
It was told that Buddha rediscovered that meditation. So, it is about all the meditations, either you have to chant some mantra or look at some point or make your mind calm like that. But in Vipassana, they are saying we have to observe our breath and just simply observe our body's reactions.
Okay.
So, that is being taught in Vipassana. It is mainly to improve our concentration. So, the civil service aspirants whoever goes to read, no, they are suggesting this, you have to do some Vipassana to read faster.
But I am told that Vipassana is a very strict kind of a thing and quite difficult, that ordinary people cannot take it, you know.
No, not
Do you
like that, sir.
subscribe to that view?
Not like that, sir. It is not that anyone can do, sir.
Okay.
So, only thing they are suggesting is to avoid non-vegetarian, we should not tell lies, like some restriction they are saying. To impose those restrictions, the Vipassana is an in-house training program.
But that will not be a good training for a civil servant, not to tell lies, you know.
It's a very hard life.
That's a very
So, no, sir, you can still be honest and efficient also.
Yeah, we all agree with that. Anything else?
There is a recent book on Tamil by David Schulman. Did you read that? A biography of Tamil.
No, sir, I haven't. If I get chance, I will try.
Okay, Gajendra.
Okay, thank you.
Wish you best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. So, how was the interview?
It was good, and they have asked some simple questions only regarding demonetization, regarding book writings.
Since you are with a Reserve Bank, I think all these are very familiar to you, right? And what do you think is your strength when facing the interview panel?
I felt that the knowledge of issues they have asked, I felt more comfortable in answering the questions.
So very soon you will be getting your feedback, and all the best, sir.
Thank you.
In the interview, we have given an overall rating of 60%,
Okay,
which is fairly good, I would say. And we have only a few suggestions to give to you, because you have been also quite matured in your approach, and you are in a responsible job, so I think that has matured you further. In an UPSC interview, when you face it, suppose since you are in the RBI, suppose some questions come on demonetization, you started answering as saying that since you are in the RBI, therefore, as if you are obligated to defend the demonetization. That may or may not have been your way of thinking, but it came out that way. But our advice would be that take a balanced approach. There could be something could have been done better, or there could have been alternate ways in which black money could have been brought, or there could have been alternate ways of moving away from the cash economy without forcing cash to be drained off from the system. So, there are all sorts of ways in which incentive could have been given for moving from cash to cashless transactions. All those things could have been done. So, it is not as if there is only one answer. So, keep your mind open to all those things, and then whatever you think preponderance of your probability in terms of what is ideally possible, then you may have subscribed to one view or the other. Other than that, anything else which you...
No, sir. Your knowledge is very good. You have a good understanding of issues. Only thing is, as sir said, you need not appear to be too rigid on the issues, because the board will expect you to be a balanced person capable of weighing different aspects of issues, things like that. So, that kind of openness will be more appreciated rather than otherwise your understanding of issues, subjects, your expression, all those things are very good. Okay, all the best.
No problems as such, but see, for example, when you tackle demonetization, although technically, managerially, economically it may have been a success, or as you said, you see the people cost involved, the difficulties which the average customer, that the remark will show you that you have a third party perspective on the whole thing, you know. That should not be neglected, because it came at a cost, and as critics say, many lives also. It is very important. Loss of lives to implement a policy, even an extremely good policy has to be implemented with a minimum cost to, you know, the average man on the street. You know, these things the board will appreciate if you say that. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
How was the feedback, sir?
They said I have done fairly well. They said I have enough knowledge about the issues that are happening around, and they said I will do well in the interview also.
Have they mentioned about any percentage?
They said they are giving 60%.
Oh, great, sir. So, all the best for your final interview and let it be as easy as this. Okay, thank you, sir.